Most of you think you lost discipline because of one massive failure in your life. Maybe it wasn't good grades. Maybe you had an injury. Maybe you had surgery. Maybe whatever you had, that's what you're attributing to the fact that, oh, I don't have discipline. Or maybe you just think you're not disciplined. Or maybe you keep telling yourself that you're weak. You keep blaming one big thing. But that's not the case. I'm gonna break down in this video what discipline truly is. Because here's the thing about self-improvement most people don't understand. It's boring. Today's a Thursday. I'm not working today. But I know I need to get into my flow state. I need to be disciplined with my stuff in order to have a good day. That's the thing we don't understand. We think a good day is all the fun stuff. Oh, I'm gonna watch a movie. I'm gonna eat some pop. No, because you have to earn that portion of your self-care. You have to earn that rest. Here's how we break down discipline. Ready? Number one. You think that discipline breaks down after one massive life event. Number two, those moments only expose what's really been dying on the inside. So it wasn't the breakup that killed your discipline. It wasn't the months of saying, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. It wasn't any of that. It was the putting off constantly those little things. And I'll give you a very easy example. Ready? Where does discipline die? Where does discipline die? It's not about, so let's say this is an arm. This is some guy's arm, right? That is a very deformed arm. And then this is another guy's arm. You think discipline is you get a massive gash in that arm and now you can't operate it anymore. But the truth is, and science proves this, the lack of discipline is these little cuts you do to yourself on a day-to-day basis. The little lies you tell yourself. And I'll give you an easy one. You have to go to the gym that day, right? Go gym. What do you tell yourself? Oh, I'm too tired. It's okay. I will do it tomorrow. And this is what gets you. Because see, discipline and procrastination, my friends, they actually go hand in hand. And your identity has to be rooted in discipline for you to understand how procrastination plays a role in why you can't actually get to your goals. And I'll give you a very easy probing answer to this. Number one, what if your life looked the exact same as it has been for the last 6 months? Would you be happy? If your answer is yes, then this video is not for you because you don't want to improve yourself. Truth is, discipline and procrastination go hand in hand. And here's how. Your identity, your core identity has to be rooted in the fact that you are who you say you are. You are a disciplined individual. And you do procrastinate because that's a human thing, but you still override that by having more discipline in your life. How does that make sense? Well, I'll show you. Every small win you have, this is what we do in Unshakable and Inner Ascension. We celebrate the small wins. My brother, you were never ever taught to validate yourself. You were never ever congratulated. You were never celebrated for the little things that matter. Because the thing is, when you focus on the big milestones in your life so much, the little milestones, you don't really recognize them. Therefore, when you focus on the big failures in your life, you don't recognize those little cuts you make on a day-to-day basis. This is your arm, those little tiny cuts. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I can't do it right now. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. Every small quit that you have on a day-to-day basis is a vote. You know, you vote. Votes are numbers game. Well, you're voting for the version of yourself that you are not okay with, which is why you're here watching this video. Give you another easy example, the snooze. I do not believe in a snooze. You know why I don't believe in a snooze? Snoozing teaches you that so let's say you have one alarm and a second alarm and a third alarm. Most people do it this way. We know that the third alarm is the final alarm. Okay, when this one rings, you got to get up. Then what is the point of these ones? You're just telling yourself, hey, alarm went off, this one doesn't matter. Hey, alarm went off, this one doesn't matter. Hey, third alarm went off, this matters. Why? When you can just as easily tell yourself, hey, when my alarm goes off, this one, I wake up. And it's these little things that aren't talked about on your hustle porn and on your social media, because the thing is, your brain records every single thing you do, even the things you're not even aware of. And I'll give you an easy example, the snooze. When you snooze that first alarm, your brain learns that alarms don't mean like you don't care about alarms, right? And when you snooze that second one, your brain's like, it's okay, it's just an alarm. And so studies have even shown this, my boy, that when you have these 3 alarms, when you snooze the first, second one, the third one is way, way harder to actually get up from, which is why you wake up tired and think that you have sleep problems. You don't have a sleep problem, you have a discipline problem. Every choice you make today on a daily basis is a vote. How is it a vote? How is the smallest act of, let's say, drinking water? How is the smallest act of doing what you say you're going to do? How is that a vote? And I'll give you an easy example. This is how the brain works, all right? You have a higher self that you're trying to get to. And you want to, in an ideal world, operate from this higher self for the majority of your day. Problem is, you have a lower self. That is your baseline, how you fall back on. Notice how it's lower? You fall back on the lower self. Problem is, most people operate from the lower self majority of their day. And see, the thing is, time flies. When you operate from lower self for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you wake up at the end of the year and you realize you haven't progressed anywhere, you haven't hit any goals. And the people who tap into the higher self energy, maybe even for 1 hour a day, end up looking back on the year and feeling like, okay, we went somewhere. And this, in a nutshell, is the entire basis of the Unshakable program, where we tap into the higher self so much and so repetitively that it's nearly impossible to go during the entire, let's say, 6 months, look back and think you haven't made any progress. But what is the lower self and what is the higher self? Let's get into it. Number 1, the higher self is stuff you don't want to do, but you know you need to do it. Now you might be thinking, well, that's not authentic. Like, I don't like, reading. I don't like going on walks. I don't like, training and going to the gym. You have to do stuff you don't like in order to get to the goals that you like. Because if let's say, based on that logic, if you had a goal that you like, which is like a Porsche, right? That's a Porsche. Let's just assume it's a Porsche. And you think doing lower self activities will lead to that Porsche, has it? In that basis, that means everybody who's sitting around doom scrolling, smoking weed, hitting vapes, gooning, doing all of that stuff should end up to get a Porsche. The thing is, a Porsche and these desires for more money and a nice body and all of these things require the higher self, which therefore means you need to be tapped into the higher self more often than you'd like. However much you can tap into the higher self is almost a direct correlation to how much higher self stuff you can achieve. But it's unfair and unrealistic to assume that you can operate in lower self and somehow get to higher self. It just does not work like that. But you know that. I ain't talking to a 12-year-old right now. You know that. So what's discipline? How do you get to discipline? How do you become disciplined? What is the step-by-step process that we use in the community that I've designed in Unshakable to get you disciplined? And it's so simple, it's almost dumb. But that's the funny part about life. The dumb, simple stuff is what the sauce is. People don't want to hear that. Let's get to how you actually become disciplined. Number 1, starts with identity. And we do this in the community and the program, where it's a direct rewiring of thought patterns that don't serve you. The brain is plastic, brother. The brain, okay, I'm gonna try making a nicer brain, but let me see this. Okay. The brain molds, changes, adapts. That is the entire fundamental basis of being a human being. We adapt to our surroundings, but we adapt to the internal surroundings and the external surroundings. That's what people don't get. When you go through something very traumatic, your brain adapts and now it's in survival mode a lot. It's trying to protect you. The internal environment becomes a survival mechanism. Problem is, or I'll tell you, when you wire this identity with the brain's way of processing and you affirm and rewire thought patterns that don't serve you, it becomes a lot easier to tap into the higher self and therefore become disciplined. And then it becomes almost fun. Then life is just fun for you because you're so tapped into higher self so often that you engage in discipline, but you don't realize how fun it is. You don't realize how amazing it feels until you're really deep into it. And then people just come up to you randomly like, yo, you're a disciplined guy. And you're like, what? I'm disciplined? That's weird. I just go to the gym, train, eat clean, read a lot, take care of myself, get to bed on time, don't doom scroll that often. Oh, wait a second. I am disciplined. Whoa, what do you know? Your identity. How do you rewire your identity? It starts by understanding what it is you think of yourself. A lot of y'all, bro, I don't even blame you. You've been told your whole life you're not enough. Your parents, people, society have constantly told you that you got 90% on that math grade. What happened to the other 10%? And that thought of I am not enough, I am lazy, gets wired into that brain. Now, here's the crazy part. When you start believing these thoughts, even though you might not know it, you start affirming and doing exactly what that thought is. So if it says I'm lazy, you're not going to wake up and think, oh, I'm so lazy today. You're going to think, man, I'm tired. And if you think you're not enough, you're going to walk around places and you're not going to be able to use your voice as loud, which we also talk about in the program, loud and assertive as you could, because you think you're lazy. You think you're not enough because of what people have conditioned you to become. So now you see this loop. It starts with the thoughts. Thoughts become your identity. Brain recognizes that. Now the brain's job is to affirm that. So when the next time you're tired or you actually show a case of being lazy, like for example, you just don't want to go somewhere or you decide to order in instead of make a meal, now your brain affirms that old thought and it says, hey, I am lazy. Look at me, man. I am lazy. The next time you can't speak up in public or you can't stand your ground, brain learns, oh, I do have low self-esteem. I am not enough, even though you might not recognize it. How do you break that, bro? It's so simple. You start from the core, these core beliefs about yourself, that you're lazy, that you're not enough, that you can't do anything. Because you think that just because you want the Porsche and the money and all of these things, that you are somehow capable of getting there. Problem is, until you start from the ground up about the belief system you have about yourself, you can't go through this cycle. So how do you actually become disciplined? Number one, every day you wake up and you tell yourself and you reaffirm it that I am a disciplined individual. Even though you might not be right now, but that's okay. That's the beauty of the program. It's a day-by-day, step-by-step basis. You think to yourself and you tell yourself, I am a disciplined individual. And the second you do that often enough, even 3 days, literature shows 3 days of affirming that, your brain now starts finding reasons why you're disciplined. And it could be as simple as the next time you reach for a glass of water, you think to yourself, wow, I'm really taking care of myself right now. I'm drinking water. That is that cycle. That's the baby cycle growing. It's that baby plant growing. And then as the rewiring starts to happen and you start tapping into higher self more, before you realize it, bro, you will be a disciplined individual. Problem with you is, dude, you've never had a program or a solution or a person or a coach or anyone who's taken you from the bottom up approach. Thought rewiring, affirmations, finding reasons to do it, journaling, micro habit tracking, and doing all of that in a community to get to being a disciplined individual. So to summarize, you are disciplined. You just haven't given yourself enough proof to prove it to yourself that you're disciplined. And it starts with the identity of who you truly are. You are what you believe. I promise you, I've walked into rooms with multi-millionaires fully believing with every core atom of my being, believing that I deserve to be in that room with those people. And dude, I've blown rooms away, man. All because the core identity relies on all of this. And the most beautiful thing I'm going to leave you with, it starts with the simplest thing of rewiring your thoughts, and all of this starts becoming a loop. It's a compounding effect. So my biggest suggestion to you would be, first of all, do the program. It's free. Join the community. It's free. But if you don't want to do that, it's simple. Start journaling your thoughts and who you are about yourself, and look in the mirror and ask yourself, who am I really? Who am I really? What do I believe about myself? And this is the thing, you might not be able to do it in the moment, but as you start going through your day, you're going to start noticing things. You might see something on social media. You might compare yourself to someone and you notice these things. You're like, damn, man, I'm not enough, bro. I'm fat, or I'm this, or I'm that. The second you notice that, boom, now you have a target. Now you take that target and you rewire it with what it is that you actually want. You see somebody with a Lambo on social media. By the way, most of it is fake. I don't need to tell you that. You see that and you're like, oh, I could never be there. Stop. What do you mean you can't be there? Stop, write it down. I think I can't have a Lambo on social. I think I can't have a Lamborghini because I feel like I'm not disciplined. Rewire that thought with your identity and think, no, I am disciplined and I am going to become that person. I am going to have a Lamborghini one day. And this is so funny because you already know this. All of this relates to the stuff you see on social media anyway. Manifestation, dua, all of these things that we've been saying tirelessly. But the problem is no one gave you a framework. I'm here to do that.